Hello, my name is Øystein Baadsvik and this is my online academy. How do I play easier high notes? That's also a very common question. It's a little bit like going to the gym and asking the instructor, how do I lift this weight easier? I mean, it is what it is and you need muscles in order to lift it. So I guess the instructor would say something, well, just do it 10 times every day for a month and you'll be good. And that's a little bit the same on the tuba. You need strength in order to play good in the high register, but there are also, fortunately, a couple of tricks. Let's start with number one. This has to do with mouth cavity. This is a mistake I did in the beginning because my teacher told me to play with a nice round opening in the mouth when I would play the tuba, and that sounded great in the mid register, but then when I played with a large opening in high register, it was extremely tiresome. So I would use this cavity here. Sounds great. High register, it really made me struggle. And for some reason, I can't remember exactly when it happened, I found out that we need to change the cavity from a large in the low register to a small cavity in the top register. And what I mean by that is, let's try to find out. Grab your pinky with the teeth and then rest the lips around the pinky. Okay, now sing with me. You notice something is moving, but it's not the lips and it's not the jaw either. Let's do it again. It's actually the tongue. So the tongue moves from the resting position down here, and it moves up to make the cavity smaller back there. And this made it so much easier to play in the high register. And to illustrate it, I'll show you something that I call the fruit theory. Watch this. Here is a grid that will illustrate my fruit theory. You got a low note, and a medium note, and a high note. You might not think that this is very high for you or low for you, but the tendency is there. The point here is that in the low register we have a large cavity inside our mouth. So I try to imagine that I can fit an apple inside my mouth. In the mid register I try to fit a strawberry, and in the high register there's just barely enough place for a blueberry. So if you can hear this sound, that's low and medium. High register, kind of different, almost a little bit like whistling. Large opening, medium, and high. And then there is the Airstream. You probably heard, or at least some of you have heard, that having a higher airspeed in the high register is good. And in a certain way it is, but it's easy to misunderstand because if you start to push a lot of air between the lips in the high register, it's going to be very, very tough for the lips to withstand that air. So instead, think of a river. A river that is this wide has a nice calm flow of water in it, and then it narrows in. What do you think will happen to the speed of the water? It will increase. And that is exactly the same thing with the air. Low register, calm, wide airstream. You narrow it in high register, and it starts picking up speed automatically. So you don't have to push more air through. As a matter of fact, you should probably back off a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be crazy. And to keep those lips together really requires that you have a lot of strength if you put a lot of air through. So let's watch this. I'm going to play 3 different octaves and watch what happens to the paper. It's about the same dynamics, but it's a totally different motion in the paper. Watch again. The paper move a lot less in the high register, and that is something I've also learned over time playing the tuba, that in order to have the exact same decibel level, also the same volume of the sound, you have to increase the air amount with double for every octave you go down. So if I'm going from this octave to this one, the air disappears twice as fast. And now we go down to this one. Now it goes 4 times as fast, so double of the middle one again. And this is an experiment you can do yourself. Let's say you put a decibel meter, there are apps for this on your phone, and you try to reach 100 decibel in 3 different octaves. Take a deep breath and then check how long does your air last in those 3 octaves. Okay, so we're back to the fruit theory here. Low register, large opening, mid register, medium, and high register, small opening. We can substitute the fruit with cylinders to just illustrate further the size of the air. So low register, wide air, mid register, more narrow, high register, very tiny. If you look at the air necessary in the high register, it's just one yellow arrow illustrating the air needed. Go down an octave, you need twice as much air, and go down another octave and you need twice as much again. So 4 times as much air as in the high register. And this actually corresponds with the time you can keep a note. Now to lip shape. What does this have to do with lip shape? Well, the guitar string is fairly similar in function to lips. They vibrate from here to here, and you get a sound, well, in this case by plucking it. For us it's just Airstream that makes the sound. But if you want to go up an octave on a guitar, the pretty obvious solution is to do like this. You put your finger on the middle and you halfen the distance this string vibrates. Again. Now here, it's a shorter distance. And there is another way I can use to come up an octave, and that is to actually, if I keep on tightening this screw, eventually I'll get to an octave higher, but it's a lot of work, it's straining on the string, and it's probably gonna snap before I reach an octave. So what does this have to do with lips? It works pretty much the same way. You can either make them shorter or you can stretch them. And unfortunately, or tragically, brass players have a tendency to kind of stretch instead of making it shorter. Let me show you what I mean. Here is tiny opening, so shorter lips. Here is wide lips. Now I'm stretching out here. I'm making it smaller. The stretching is not good because it's really heavy for the corners, for the muscles here. And another thing is that you cannot play soft. So if I go and I want to play soft, it just disappears. It doesn't work. If I have the small opening, I have a really good dynamic range and good control. You can practice this position by actually using a pen, put it in between your lips, and try to squeeze it this way. This is nothing you should do for hours a day, but it can be really handy before you start playing in high register to just establish this habit of pressing towards the middle and not the opposite way. Watch this video. Let's take a look at lip shape in high register. The black circle here is the mouthpiece seen from the outside. And here are the lips with its tiny opening in the middle. And the pressure is going in towards the middle. And then you got a mouthpiece again seen from the outside, and this is the stretching method where you stretch out to the side, also called the smiling embouchure, and this is not very good. So to sum it up, the three most important things you can do to make your high register more easy is to find the right cavity in the mouth. Remember the fruit theory, apple and strawberry and blueberry. And the second thing is airstream. Don't try to blow too much air between the lips. Balance it between the registers so you get the right airstream. This is actually easier when you get the correct aperture or opening in the back of the mouth as well. And thirdly, you got the shape of the lips. If you avoid this smiling embouchure, this one, and go for a more precise embouchure in the middle, that's going to make it easier too. I hope you can use these tips in order to improve your playing, and take a look at the exercise that will fix all of this.